Hello, 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 hello. Please hit the like and the subscribe button. Please, you guys see the moniker. Real Trump corruption. Real corruption, right? The corruption is right in front of us. And a lot of us refuse to see it. And when I say the family is corrupt, I'm not saying every one of the four situations that I'm about to describe has been proven to be a criminal bribe. What I am saying is that public power is being mixed with private family profit in a way that creates obvious conflicts of interest. And that matters because corruption is not just about whether a politician gets richer or not. Corruption changes who gets access to you, who gets access to the president, who gets contracts, who gets favorable treatment, and who gets heard, and ultimately who the government works for. That is where the American people come into this story. Because if a president's family can make money from foreign governments, federal contractors, investment firms, and companies that depend on government action, then regular Americans have to ask whether government decisions are being made for the public or for the people who can make the president's family richer. That is the real issue here, right? For instance, number one, Donald Trump is the president of the United States while his family business continues to expand in foreign countries whose governments need things from the United States. This is a terrible precedent, right? A terrible, terrible precedent. This is a terrible, terrible precedent, right? This is the article. Hold on. Let me read this article. Let me pull this article up, shall we? This article is Trump's foreign licensing business grew 900% as he returns to power. Wow. These are different articles, right? The Trump family deal spree could open doors for future presidents to profit from the office. That's crazy. That's crazy. Billions of dollars since he's been in office. Decades presidents have avoided even the appearance of profiting from their office. President Trump is taking a different approach, according to news articles. The family real estate business is undergoing the fastest overseas expansion since its founding a century ago. Each deal potentially shaping everything from tariffs to military aid. Led by Eric, his brother Don Jr., the family business has expanded into cryptocurrency with ventures that brought in billions of dollars or raised questions about whether some of these big investors receive favorable treatment. Have they received favorable treatment? Who knows? Now, let me tell you exactly what the corruption concern is. The problem is that Donald Trump has two interests operating at the same time. One interest is the American interest. As the president, he is supposed to make decisions based on what is best for the United States. The other interest is his family's private financial interest. If the Trump family has business in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Vietnam, or another foreign country, then Donald Trump may be making governmental decisions involving governments that also have the ability to help or hurt his family. That is the corruption. The president should never be in a position where a foreign government can think maybe doing business with his family will help our relationship with America. And Americans should never have to wonder whether a president's foreign policy decision was made because it was best for us or because it was good for his family business. Now, how does that affect ordinary Americans? It affects us because foreign policy has real consequences. It affects trade, gas prices, national security, military commitments. It affects which countries receive weapon deals, exceptions, and favorable treatment. If private family money is sitting anywhere near those kind of decisions, Americans may end up paying the price for a decision that benefits somebody else's pocketbook. That is why this matters. If Trump negotiates a trade deal that hurts American workers but helps a country where his family is doing business, we deserve to know there was no financial influence. If his administration gives favorable treatment to a government where the Trump family has interest, we deserve to know the family business had nothing to do with it. See, the problem is not just that Trump might make money. The problem is that Americans may be living under policies shaped by financial relationships we did not vote for. Let me show you this. Instance number 2, Don Jr. and that 1789 Capitol. Let me pull that up. Here. Let me show you. Hold on. Do that. This right here. Democrats to investigate miraculous rise of Trump Jr.'s investment firm. Congressman Jamie Raskin asked President's son to detail firm's recent successes. His recent successes after he joined the 1784 Capitol as a partner. Donald Jr. speaks during preparation for the second day of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. It's 2024. Democrats on a powerful U.S. congressional committee have launched an investigation into a venture capital firm which has thrived since recruiting Donald Trump's son. Donald Trump Jr. joined 1789 Capitol as a partner just days after his father's second term in office. Congressman Jamie Raskin, ranked member of the U.S. House of Representatives, has asked the president's son to detail the firm's recent success. Now, Don Jr. joins this cap after his father wins the presidency, right? And the investment firm grows from roughly $150 million under management to billions. So what is the corruption concern here? The concern is that the president's son is financially tied to companies whose success can depend on federal contracts. Okay. But also they got federal loans in there, there's grants in there, regulations and policy decisions controlled by his father's administration too. Okay. So this is the problem that we have. This is what if a company backed by Don Jr.'s investment firm gets favorable governmental treatment, Don Jr.'s financial interests may benefit. Again, that does not prove Donald Trump personally ordered any of this favor, but it means the president's son is sitting in a position where governmental decisions can increase the value of his private investment, and that should make people uncomfortable. Now, how does that affect American people? It affects us because government money is our money. Federal contracts are paid for with the taxpayer dollar. Federal loans are backed by taxpayers. Grants come from public funds. Regulatory decisions can decide which companies succeed and which companies fail. If political connections influence where that money goes, then ordinary businesses without a presidential son attached to them may be competing on an uneven playing field. That hurts small business. It hurts honest competition. It can raise costs. It can mean taxpayers are not getting the best company or the best deal. They may be getting the company with the best political connections. That is corruption that reaches right into the economy. Because once access to power becomes part of the business model, ordinary Americans are no longer competing against other businesses. They're competing against connections. Instance number 3, Eric Trump and Space Eyes. Then we have Eric Trump. Eric Trump receives a 6% stake in a defense technology company whose business depends heavily on the United States government. Let me show you that article right here.
If the police or
right here.
Call asking about the evening of the 26th, I need you to tell
Okay.
me your day.
Here's the article.
What have you done? Nothing bad. Promise.
Let me read it. Let me read some of it. Hold on. Let me read some of that article. Hold on. And this is the It says the drone defense startup needed connections, so they hired Eric Trump.
Thank you.
Eric Trump.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So, SpaceEye CEO gives President Donald Trump's 6% stake in that company to tap into his network, to tap into Eric Trump's network of contacts. SpaceEye hired him to facilitate conversations using his network. The president's son owns part of a company that wants business done from the president's government. That's a conflict. SpaceEye says Eric is not involved in government procurement, and that distinction matters. But the company also values his network and gave him a potential multi-million-dollar ownership stake. He has 6% stake in the company, which basically means he has the potential to make $12 million off that deal. Eric Trump. So Americans have every right to ask whether the Trump name gives the company an advantage. And this affects ordinary Americans in a very direct way. Defense spending is taxpayer money. The Pentagon spends hundreds of billions of dollars every year. When the government awards a contract, it should go to the company that provides the best product at the best value and meets the governmental needs. It should not go to the company because the president's son is attached to it. Even the appearance of favoritism damages this trust. And there's another consequence. If politically connected families or companies win contracts over better companies, taxpayers may spend more money for worse product. That can affect military readiness. It can affect national security. It can affect the quality of technology our military uses. So this ain't some family gossip story about Eric getting richer. This is about whether your tax dollars are being spent fairly and wisely. That is why this conflict between Eric and this contract is corrupt almost to a point. So we have instance number 4, Ivanka, Jared, and foreign money. Now let's get to Ivanka and Jared Kushner. Jared's investment company has received billions of dollars from foreign investors, including sovereign wealth funds from the Middle East, while Jared has also participated in American diplomacy involving the same region. Let me give you that article. Let me see. Put that article up, shall we? Okay, check that out. Here we go with that one. Listen to that. Trump's foreign licensing business grew 900% as he returned to power. Okay? As he returned to power. Okay? So what is the corruption concern here? The concern is that Jared may be sitting in a room representing the United States while also having enormous private financial relationships with interest connected to the government sitting across the table. That is an obvious conflict of interest. If a foreign government has billions invested in your private business and you are helping negotiate American policy involving that government, Americans have every right to ask whose interests are being protected. They damn sure ain't ours. Okay? They damn sure ain't ours. Again, that does not prove Jared sold American policy, but the structure itself is dangerous. And how does that affect ordinary Americans? Foreign policy affects all of us. It affects wars, military aid, oil markets, trade, immigration, terrorism policy. It affects where American troops are deployed and how American tax dollars are spent overseas. If foreign investors have a financial relationship with somebody helping to shape policy, Jared Kushner is helping Donald Trump shape policy. If foreign investors have a financial relationship with someone helping shape policy, Americans may have no way of knowing whether that policy is being made strictly for national interests. That is why the conflict of interest between all of these family members is important. Jared, Ivanka, Eric, and Don Jr. Okay? That is why conflicts of interest are not some technical Washington problem. They can affect the paycheck, taxes, gas prices, military, retirement, the whole economy. The consequences are staggering. Now you put all four of these conflict of interest together. Don Jr.'s conflict of interest, Eric's share in a company, Jared going overseas and negotiating deals with foreign governments and taking foreign money, but on behalf of the United States trying to make deals and blah, blah, blah. This is the part I really want people to understand. These are four different arrangements. Eric, Don, Ivanka, and Donald Trump. And Jared and Ivanka and Donald Trump. But they all create the same basic danger. Donald Trump has private family business interests tied to foreign governments. Donald Jr. has private investments tied to companies affected by governmental decisions. Eric owns part of a company dependent on government contracts. Jared manages billions in foreign-backed money while helping with foreign policy. So what is the corruption? The corruption is the collapse of the wall between public power and private profit. The presidency is supposed to belong to American people. The decisions made in that office are supposed to be based on what helps our country. But when the president's family can make money from people, companies, and governments affected by presidential decisions, that creates a system where access itself becomes valuable. Access to the president. Donald Trump Jr. has access to Donald Trump. Eric has access to Donald Trump. Jared and Ivanka have access to Donald Trump. Jared walks into the office and says, hey, daddy-in-law, these people gonna let me manage their company if you build a golf course in their country. Obviously, a conflict of interest. Eric Trump. Oh, Dad, I have share in this company, and this company wants governmental contracts. Do you think you could steer some of those governmental contracts to my company? They just gonna give me a finder's fee, but if you steer it to them, I could get a bigger finder's fee. Y'all don't find that a conflict of interest? Of course it's a conflict of interest. Of course they're making money off the fucking presidency right below our eyes. When access becomes valuable, money starts flowing into motherfuckers' pockets towards the people closest to power. That is how corruption works. Not always with the envelope, not always as obvious as I just made it sound. Okay? Not always with secret recordings. Sometimes corruption simply means people with money get closer to government than ordinary people ever could. And that's how it affects the rest of us. The average American does not get to invest $100 million with the president's son. The average American does not get to put billions of dollars into the president's son-in-law's investment fund. The average American does not get to give the president's son a multimillion-dollar stake in a defense company. The average American does not get to negotiate a hotel deal in Saudi Arabia with the president's family. So if those people gain more influence because they can financially benefit the president's family, ordinary voters are pushed further and further away from pride. He ain't working for the American people. They ain't working for the American people. It just is what it is. They're not working for the American people. They're working for that Epstein class. All of those people are in on it together. And it ain't these regular, ordinary Joe Blow senators. It ain't none of them Joe Blow senators. It's people that make way more money than them average Joe Blow senators. Joe Blow senators is just Joe Blow senators. The Epstein class is way above and far beyond them. That's who the Trump family is working for. That's who they work for. That's who they work with. That's why Donald Trump didn't want him and his buddies to be put out in Front Street with the Epstein file. The people in the Epstein files ain't ordinary Joe Blow. Those are just little tidbits they keep throwing at us. The Epstein class is way richer than that, way more powerful than these peon senators. Your vote may technically count the same as the rich people. Your access does not. That is the damage. Why this matters to us. And let's make this even more practical. Let me bring it down for you. Every federal contract that is influenced by political connections is your money. Every governmental loan is your money. Every grant is your money. Every defense contract that Eric and Don Jr. get is your money. Every trade decision can affect your job that Jared Kushner negotiates. That's your money. Every foreign policy decision can affect your cost of living. Jared Kushner, who don't have no fucking experience at all doing any of these things, is out there negotiating stuff for us. Corruption is not just some moral problem sitting in Washington. Corruption can cost people a lot of money, cost us a lot of money. If government contracts go to politically connected companies instead of the best qualified companies, taxpayers pay too much. If regulation is written to benefit companies connected to the powerful family, connected to the Trump organization, the Trump family, competitors may get pushed out. I'll give y'all the perfect example. What was that bullshit with that damn water fountain? That water, I forgot the name of it, just slipped my mind. That water thing down in Washington that was done so badly that the paint starts scraping. The name is just slipping my mind. That was done by one of Donald Trump's goody friends, or one of his friends said, "Hey, hire this dude right here." That dude fucked it up. That's what happens when you just let any old body, because they're your buddy, do something for you. If foreign policy is influenced by private business and interests, American workers may be sacrificed for the deals that benefit the wealthy insiders, which is what happened with that water thing. I can't think of the name for nothing. And if ordinary Americans begin to believe the system is rigged, the government and trust in government should be in that collapse. People stop believing elections don't matter, the laws don't apply to them, government don't work for them. The standards should not be that complicated. The president's family should not be able to profit from businesses that depend on decisions made by the president's government, by our government. Foreign governments should not be able to create financial relationships with the president's son-in-law while asking the United States for favorable treatment. Government contractors should not have the president's son sitting on the ownership side of the table, Eric Trump. And the president should not have private financial interests that overlap with foreign policy decisions, Don Jr. and Donald Trump Sr. This shouldn't be a Republican rule or a Democrat rule. It should be an American rule. I don't understand why. I don't understand why people ain't hollering at the rooftops. Because if we excuse it, when your side doesn't, then we're not fighting corruption. We're just fighting the other team's corruption. So when I say Trump's family corruption is right in front of us, I mean something very specific. You can go look this shit up. I don't have to make this stuff up. This is what his family is doing, profiting off the American people. Donald Trump's foreign business creates a conflict because the president can make decisions affecting countries where his family makes money. Don Jr.'s investment business creates a conflict because companies connected to his firm can benefit from federal decisions made by his father's administration. Eric's defense company, his stake in that company, that 6% stake that has the potential to give him $12 million, creates a conflict because his private wealth may grow when a company dependent on federal contracts succeeds. And Jared Kushner's foreign-backed investment business, God only knows how these people gave this man billions and millions of dollars. It creates a conflict because he's over there negotiating Iran war. and other wars and other conflicts and other treaties. And those countries are giving him money to invest, to manage. So if Jared Kushner's foreign-backed investment business creates a conflict because foreign governments and investors may have financial relationships with someone helping shape American foreign policy, we got a problem. And every one of those conflicts can affect regular American citizens through taxes, contracts, jobs, national security, trade, prices, and basic fairness from our government. That is the part people need to stop overlooking. Corruption at the top never stays at the top. Eventually, somebody pays for that. And most of the time, it's going to be us paying the bill for this goofy shit that's going on in this administration. It's corruption up and down. I don't want to fucking hear you retards say something about Democrats. We're talking about the Trump family. We're talking about the Trump family right now. We ain't talking about nothing else. We ain't talking about no Republicans on the Democrats. We're talking about the Trump family right now, profiting off of the American people. Let me be in charge of the company. Let me be in charge of this company. Let me have a stake in this company, and I'll steer contracts your way. My dad will tell me which contracts to do. My dad will tell me blah, blah, blah. It's corruption up and down in this organization, in this administration. And I can't wait for people to uncover it and unmask it. It's just up and down the scale. And it should be turned over. It should be seen. It should be investigated. It just is what it is, right? Please hit the like and the share, subscribe. I have content like this like Monday through Thursday. And I will definitely see you later on in another video, of course. I appreciate it. This is TPP. Let me hear what they said in the comment section. What do we got? We got any good goofies, or we got some good goofies? W. Robert Palmer. He has lots of stock in oil and gas, and our Doge check is we ain't getting no Doge check. We just ass out for the Doge check. We just ass out for the Doge check. Okay, Trump with his family members are robbing the taxpayers by the bill. Of course, they're robbing the taxpayers by the billions. No, all it takes is good men to not say anything. That's all it took, was good men not to say anything to allow all of the things that Trump has done. That's all it took, was some good men not to say anything. Okay. What is the solution? Kick all of their asses out. Make laws that say you can't do that. The most dangerous is all the Congress people are peons compared to this Epstein group. This Epstein group is these senators can't touch this Epstein group. This Epstein group needed to be taken down. Okay. They just need to be taken down. Okay. I think you may have got your facts mixed. I don't think I got my facts mixed up. I don't think I got my facts mixed up. You need to read. If you think I got facts mixed up, I can send you 10 articles that say exactly what I said. I don't have my facts mixed up. You just ain't listening. When Trump leaves office and he's going there to, there's going to be a Democratic president to clean up the mess that Trump will leave behind again. I don't know. Do you have a solution? No, I don't have no solution. You have eloquently stated the problem. I don't know what the problem is. All I know is these people are rich beyond measure. And you have to have somebody willing to bring these people to the carpet. You got to have somebody willing to call these people to the carpet. Donald Trump, a lot of y'all put him in office so he could clean the swamp. He is the swamp. He ain't trying to clean the swamp. He never was trying to clean the swamp. He just wanted to get into the swamp so he could make more money and his children could make more money. There's no way a president should go from the $1 billion to $6 billion within a 2-year time span unless they're doing something corrupt. Okay? Unless they're doing something corrupt. He's not, and I don't understand how we still have people. Wait a minute, what is it? CPC H8V. I think you're in a cult, and I don't know whether you're retarded or you're just slow. But there ain't no way in hell anybody could sit here and straight face and say that this president is not helping to benefit his rich friends and not helping to benefit us poor people. I just don't, you either retarded or you're slow for you to even not know that he's not trying to help us. He's trying to help his rich friends. Yeah. American taxpayers not benefiting from this administration. No, they're not benefiting from this administration. It's almost worse. It's almost worse. USA, what can you say about USA? Maybe you should have dated that. Should have dated about that for you. Who knows? No administration is as corrupt as this administration. No administration is as corrupt as this one. Okay. The illegals have already messed up. That's the problem. You didn't have any thought about any illegals until this president came into office, started talking about foreign people, talking about black and brown people. You didn't have no concept of nothing till that president started saying that. Maybe you need to explore why that is. Why is it never this smoke when Democrats are running shit? Because Democrats don't try to corrupt people and take the American money like this president has. No president in the history of presidents has been as corrupt as this president. That's why. Why do some poor black people flash their entire life taking dance around? I don't know, because they happy they got money in their pocket. Who the fuck knows? That's a dumbass question. Thank you for the information. Will you get our money back? I wish I could. First of all, first thing I would do is I'd take those tax cuts for the rich people back. Boom. I'd take all of them back. I'd slim down the government a little bit more. I'd get us out of that Ukraine war. I'd get us out of this Iran war. But they ain't finna hire me. But I know what I would do. They are all corrupt. Turn off the TV and stop being a brain dead unless you eat it. Nobody said they were corrupt. What we said was this president is more corrupt than any president in the history of presidents. Okay. TZ51. Hey, please, lady. Okay. Dennis Winkle. Don't forget the Trump administration has to clean up the mess. No. Wait a minute. Let me explain something to you. Barack Obama got us out of the mess that George Bush got us into. We were rolling under Obama. Okay. Then Trump got elected. Trump, with the help of COVID, ran us into a ditch. We have been in that ditch since he ran us into that ditch. Biden wasn't able to get us out of that ditch fast enough. We have been in that ditch since Trump's first term. Trump just threw, what Trump did was, instead of letting the ladder stay next to the wall so we could climb up out of the hole, Donald Trump took the ladder out of the fucking hole. So now we can't get out of the hole unless we have a change in administration, change in policy, change in our direction. He keeps digging and digging and digging. You ever heard the expression, stop digging? Donald Trump keeps digging. It's not trying to get us out of the hole because it's not about us. He don't care about us. He cares about getting his kids rich. He cares about putting his name on building. He cares about his legacy. He don't care about the American people. I don't know why y'all think he do. People who think any career politician, nobody said politicians were good. What we said was they're better than this president. They're better than this president. They're better than this president. Okay. Trump's second term president is a direct answer to corruption. No, because the Democrats have always had a steady economy. Every time they got into power, they've tried to steady the boat. Every Democratic president. If you go back and look in history, Democrats have steadied the ship in this country far more than Republicans have. Periods. Every time a Republican gets into office, only thing they want to do is tax cuts, start a war, and what's the third one? The third one is cut healthcare, something like that. But it's always three things they always do: start wars, give tax cuts, and crash the economy. That's it. Always want to do them three things. Every president: George Bush, Donald Trump 1, Donald Trump 2, crashed the economy. Every time they got into office, started a war. Every time they got in office, gave tax cuts. Every time they got in, You go back. You ain't got to ask me. That's all you got to do is read. That's all you got to do is read. That's what Republicans do when they get into power. Tax cuts, wars, crash the economy. Every time. Then the Democrats got to come around and try to fix stuff. Just read. You ain't got to believe me. Just go back and read. Okay? Just goofy. Okay? If you were in this country, you should know about the corruption. Biden didn't have corruption. Not like this. No, but you're wasting that. Yeah, I am wasting your time because you're retarded. If I'm wasting your time, then you're retarded. Okay. We can do this together. Dyslexia, DIY. Okay. Trump's fast-tracked 3 treatments for COVID the Biden administration took and weaponized. Just goofy. Biden was snoring. Okay. He opens his mouth and lies. Of course he opens his mouth and lies. Of course. I'm glad I'm independent. Yes. The last Democrat president tried to destroy it. Sure he did. Biden tried to destroy our country. Biden tried to get us out of the hole that he couldn't get us out of because Trump ran us into that hole. Okay, the last election was one issue bomb. Yeah, I don't even understand how anybody can think that this economy is good, think that this president is working for them. I just don't know how you can think that. But, hey, some people are asleep at the wheel. There's a lot of people asleep at the wheel. Okay, you can thank the Democrats for the second Trump. Yes, absolutely. The second time, because you goofies don't know how the economy works. If you know how the economy works, then you knew that Biden wasn't able to get us out of the hole, not a deeper hole that COVID put us into. And Biden didn't put us in the hole. COVID and Donald Trump put us in the hole. Biden was trying to get us out of the hole. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that. He was able to get us onto the ladder, but he wasn't able to get us all the way out of the hole. And then when Donald Trump got hired, Donald Trump pulled the ladder up and we got fucked over. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully, there's an impeachment in our future. Please let it be an impeachment in our future. Please let it be an impeachment in our future. That's all we need is 60 votes. That's all we need is control of the Senate and control of the House. And that president is going to be impeached. It is what it is. So please hit the like and share button, subscribe button. I appreciate it. I have content like this all the time. And I appreciate it. And I will definitely see you guys in the next video. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yes, I do.